fair use.
Over the past year and a half, Gaza has quietly become ground zero for an unprecedented experiment. Israel's military, teaming up with elite tech minds, has woven artificial intelligence into nearby every step of its operations. Nestled with Unit 8200, a secret innovation hub nicknamed The Studio has come to life. Reservists drawn from Google, Microsoft, and Meta swap their office keyboards for field intelligence, pouring corporate know-how into military-grade projects. The result? AI systems that can pick out partially obscured faces in a crowd, sift through social media chatter in dozens of Arabic dialects, and even compile lists of high-value targets in mere minutes. On paper, this sounds like the future of precision warfare. AI-driven facial recognition cameras at makeshift checkpoints and digital tools that flag suspicious phone calls buried in Gaza's networks. This advanced technology was not sufficiently tested, yet it was aggressively and hastily deployed in Gaza. Faulty face matches have led to wrongful detentions. Chatbots trained on intercepted messages have misread slang and mistranslated nuances. And in many cases, Palestinians have lost their lives due to AI errors. Human Rights Watch has already warned that flawed data and opaque systems risk violating international humanitarian law, while European and US experts fret that no other army has tested AI so aggressively in active combat as the IOF. This isn't the first revelation of its kind. The IOF has repeatedly tested its weaponry and systems on Palestinians before rolling them out to the market, using these experiments as evidence of success. From automated turrets to AI-driven detection systems, the Israeli occupation treats Gaza as a laboratory, dehumanizing Palestinians as if they were mere testing subjects. And with how rapidly technology is evolving, and in the wrong hands, the future has never seemed so frightening.
The Farnborough Air Show, one of the largest in the world. Global weapons giants like BAE Systems, Lockheed Martin and Airbus come to show off their latest military hardware. Billions of dollars of civil and military deals are done here every year. Standing shoulder to shoulder with these global military giants are Israel's top weapons manufacturers, like Israel Aerospace Industries and missile makers Rafael. In the main hall, Israel's largest private weapons company, Elbit, has a huge stand. They needed to showcase their world-class drones and missiles. Despite its tiny population, Israel is the world's 9th largest weapons producer. This high-budget promo is for the Trophy anti-missile system made by Israeli company Rafael. It's the kind of advanced technology Israel specializes in and makes the Israeli Merkava tank one of the best on the market.
Automatically activated only when enemy fire is sure to hit the vehicle.
Both tank and anti-missile systems sell around the world to undisclosed clients. Overall, Israel exports more than $13 billion of weapons and surveillance equipment a year. And with adverts like this for the Spike Firefly, Israeli companies hint that their products may have been battle-tested in Palestine. So how does being a major arms supplier impact Israel's diplomatic position? Could it give the country a measure of impunity when it wants to undertake its own wars? I've just got a stash of books from my publisher today. My book and other books mostly related to Palestine and guerrilla journalism, just some light reading. I'm about to do an event, a Q&A about my book, The Palestine Laboratory. The book's been quite controversial. It's a look at how the occupation of Palestine allows Israel to test weapons, which are then sold around the world. I wanted to do a book really not just about the whole concept of the arms industry, which is an interesting subject, but can be a bit dry. But what Israel is testing and selling and promoting is not just weaponry, it's an idea. It's a concept. And it's a very appealing concept to many other countries. Israel sells the idea of getting away with it. To find out how tiny Israel has managed to develop this huge military and surveillance machine, I'm heading back to Israel and Palestine. It's not really clear if I'm going to get in. I haven't been there for a few years. Wish me luck. Although I'm Jewish, I'm not a citizen of Israel, and their immigration rules say they can refuse entry to critics of the country or those who have called for boycotts, so they have multiple reasons for turning me away. My arrival was surprisingly smooth, so I'm heading straight to East Jerusalem. Israel has been occupying the West Bank since 1967 and has developed a unique system of controlling the Palestinian population, from checkpoints and the separation wall to increasingly innovative methods of surveillance. These walls are not just walls, they can listen. And they are listening to probably us right now, I suspect. It's in these population management technologies that Israel is a global leader. So I want to see how they first use it to control Palestinians before being sold around the world. I'm on my way to meet Osama, a businessman in East Jerusalem, to find out how all this impacts ordinary Palestinians.
You can see my office from this camera. Inside.
So the cameras are both looking into Damascus Gate, but also out.
In and out.
So I'm standing on a balcony literally overlooking Damascus Gate. It's Osama's office, his insurance office. And all around, behind me, over there, there's multiple surveillance towers. Right behind me, there's a camera watching me. So I'm going to watch it. Osama wants to show me the very physical reality of the occupation, the restrictions on the movement of Palestinians.
أنا وصولي إلى المكتب هذا اللي ببعد يعني قرابة 20 دقيقة بياخد مني 3 ساعات ونصف. العدد الحواجز الموجودة هو مش حالي أنا وحدي، هو حال كل حدا يعيش خارج الجدار ويعمل داخل مدينة القدس.
His daily commute from the West Bank to Jerusalem is through the Kalandia checkpoint. Osama, how do you feel when you cross Kalandia checkpoint?
البؤس، الخوف كتير إنه أمي تتوفى وأنا بالأزمة هاي ما أقدر أوصلها.
You're crying.
I sent 24 hours about my daughter, my son. If he need me, I am here. And this is traffic. I need 3 hours, 4 hours to go to help my son. You understand that?
I do. I can understand why this would make you nervous.
You can see soldier here. Any mistake, you lose your life.
And that's happened many times.
Yes.
The soldiers have the power to detain people like Osama for hours, question them, and place them in administrative detention without charge or trial.
Should ask. That's it. Wait, I can go.
Yeah.
I ask him.
It's almost like you have to ask permission to go into Jerusalem, to get back to your own city. But this physical infrastructure is just the beginning. Israel has a vision of a seamless future where technology minimizes the interactions between Palestinians and the Israeli army. Israel says it's safer, but it's quite dystopic. Mona, hi. I'm meeting Palestinian digital rights campaigner Mona Shteya to find out more. Explain the growing trend within Israeli thinking of a so-called frictionless occupation?
Well, the whole automation aims to eliminate the direct interaction between the Israeli as occupying force and Palestinians as occupied people, and to make the main interaction between Palestinians and the technology. So it could create this idea that our problem is not with the occupier, but rather with the technology.
Hebron is the testing ground for many of these supposedly frictionless technologies. The city is split into two zones, H1 with a population of nearly 200,000. In H2, 35,000 Palestinians live under the gaze of the 750 settlers and 800 soldiers who have taken over the centre of the city. Palestinians living in H2 face the heaviest surveillance in the West Bank and the strictest travel restrictions.
هي الكاميرات على ظهر سطحي طول وانا انشر واتدير وانا مراقبة. هاي محطوطة على مكان معين هم بدهم اياه هيك. اما هاي بتلف كل حوالين كل تل رميدة، يعني وين ما اروح وين باجي كل شي بتكشفني. محطوطات غصب. جيش يطلع فوق السطح من غير ما يستأذن. شو انتو الدار داركو؟ اصبحت دار مش داري، شارع صارت على الكاميرات. انا بقوم الصبح بفطر، بعمل كاسة شاي وبعدين بلبس وبدي اطلع اشتري اغراضي. وانا رايحة ساعين من البيت كاميرات من ركباتني، ولما نفوت الحجز بنطلع على الكاميرات وقول لنا هات الهوية وطلع هيك على بده يشوف بصمات العين، وبدي ارجع معي اغراضي برضه من الحاجز. لما صل بيتي كل الكاميرات بتصورني وين بفوت وين بطلع وقتاش برجع وقتاش بطلع. يبقى مش حرين احنا الضمير في منطقتنا نتجول ولا نروح ولا نيجي حتى في بيوتنا.
Under the so-called frictionless occupation, these cameras are linked to artificial intelligence systems, watching for what Israel deems threatening behaviour.
There's someone who watch you, who knows what you are doing, but you don't necessarily know who's watching you.
Gospel is an advanced AI model system used by Israel's military, the IDF, to generate targets for strikes in Gaza. This technology has been referred to as a mass assassination factory and is likely being showcased for future international sales. The use of Gospel has raised concerns due to the significant increase in the number of targets for strikes in the Palestinian territory. Israel using an AI-based system called Habsora, the Gospel in English, in the war against Hamas to produce targets at a fast pace. A machine that produces vast amounts of data more effectively than any human and translates it into targets for attack. Gospel uses AI to generate recommendations for troops in the Research Division of Military Intelligence, which then uses them to produce quality targets and passes them on to the IAF to strike. The exact features of Gospel are likely confidential, but it's clear that the system is capable of analyzing vast amounts of data to identify potential targets. This includes not only military installations, but also individuals who are deemed a threat. Israel earlier used AI technology in an 11-day war in Gaza in May 2021. It is believed that Israel had fought its first AI war using machine learning and advanced computing. In the past, it would produce 50 targets in Gaza per year. Now, this machine produces 100 targets a single day, with 50% of them being attacked. The latest Israel-Hamas war has provided an unprecedented opportunity for the IDF to use such tools in a much wider theatre of operations. And in particular, to deploy an AI target creation platform called The Gospel, which has significantly accelerated a lethal production line of targets that officials have compared to a factory. So Gospel prepare the targets automatically, and military unit work according to a checklist. The use of Gospel in the Israel-Palestine war has been a game changer. The system's ability to quickly and accurately identify targets has significantly increased the IDF's operational efficiency. However, this has also led to an increase in the number of strikes in the Palestinian territory, raising concerns about the potential for increased civilian casualties. While the exact future implementations of Gospel are unknown, it's clear that AI will continue to...
Yeah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, to the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists in the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners, who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, right? Shalom. To you sisters, your Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This is your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson. And as you can see, I showed, a couple of clips. I mean, it went a distance, like 15 minutes or whatever, but it's showing you the condition of the battle, right? So these are the things that we're about to face. But just to point out, right here, this is Isaiah chapter 2, verse 3, and it says, many people shall go and say, come ye, let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, right? Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, to the house of the power of Yaquab, of Jacob, right? And he will teach us his ways, right? So these are dealing with these different nations, right? Which first and foremost is going to be dealing with the Israelite foreigners, right? Because they're the ones that's going to be joined unto us. But it's also all nations are going to have to learn of the ways, the law, statutes, and commandments, and that's not happening under these the JJs, the small hats, right? The you wish, right? That's not happening for them, underneath them, right? And it says, and we will walk in his path, for out of Zion, right? Because they're saying they're the Zionists and all this and that, right? Out of Zion shall go forth the law, the law of Moses, man, right? Law, statutes, and commandments, but not just the laws of Moses. The entire Bible is actually the law, right? Whether you understand it or not, right? When the Apostle Paul said it's a shame for a man to have long hair, that's a law now, right? Right? The scriptures were given by inspiration of the Holy Spirit, man. Right? That's authority, man. There's a ranking in that. So it says, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem, and they're supposed to be so-called in the land, and that's not what's coming out of Jerusalem. You know what's coming out of Jerusalem? AI, modern day what it says, a death factory, right? Right. Their gospel is war crimes, right? G-siding, right? Says and he shall judge among the nations. See, and they're not ruling over the nations like that. You got Russia and Iran bucking up against them. You got China bucking up. You got North Korea bucking up against them, right? And now they do reign over them behind the scenes, so to speak. You know, in the as far as, you know, in the Illuminati sense of the thing, in the sense of the international bankers. But since the world is a theater, they have to give you these wars and rumors of wars, which is all going to be for the demise, right? Because guess what? Those nukes are real. Those you know, those stealth bombers are real, right? So you even though you all this is a theater, you know, so-called Trump sent the American military to strike, and then so-called nothing really happened. It's all theater, right? It's all Hollywood. It's all a game. But guess what? Them hypersonic missiles are coming for this place to turn it into a desert, and it ain't gonna be a game, right? And it says where was I at? Yeah, and shall rebuke many people, man, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword anymore against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore, right? Right? And that's not happening over there with the small hats, right? It's going to the NLT over here. It says people from many nations will come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, to the house of Jacob, right? Power. There he will teach us, which is dealing with the elect, right? Of the nation of Israel is going to teach the world the law, statutes, and commandments, his ways, and will walk in his paths, right? Because there ain't going to be any other laws in the land. There going to be any worship of any other gods or any of that other madness that goes on now, right? Under the you-ish, you can worship any god you want. You can do whatever you want, right? In his paths, for Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai's teaching will go out from Zion. His words will go out from Jerusalem, and that ain't happening in modern day so-called Jerusalem, right? Right? Their gospel is AI that's able to pick off people and choose what people to target, to kill them, and that's gospel, right? That's gospel to them. That's their good news, right? It is war, death, bloodshed. Their gospel is bloodshed, right? It says and it says Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai will meditate between nations, right? Oh, judge, right? Between nations, and will settle international. Oh, right. Like the Lord's trying to come settle international disputes. No, that's not what he's coming to do. Not coming to settle international disputes, right? The only dispute that he's coming to settle is you have put the apple of his eye into slavery, and not just only slavery. You subject to subjects of payments through rape, rob, murder, right? The ghettos, the vadios, the reservations, through different, diseases and all sorts of madness, man. Yeah, that's the only thing he's gonna settle, right? They will hammer their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks, and that's not to settle your thing. Oh yeah, you know what? Fine, we're gonna come in with this peace, unlike Donald Trump with this false peace that he's trying to do. He's trying to insert himself to get the Nobel Peace Prize, right? Even got an ugly ass black woman from somewhere, some ugly ass woman saying you need the Nobel Peace Prize. Says nation will no longer fight against nation, nor train for war anymore. So these people said they're in the land. They said they fulfill prophecy. Why is that happening? See? Yeah, so this is Micah chapter 4, verse 3. And he shall judge among many people, right? And it's basically the same thing, because they're going to say, meditate between people and settle the disputes between strong nations from far away. They will hammer their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nations will no longer fight against nation, nor train for war anymore. See? And it says, KJV, and he shall judge many people, right? And they're not going to settle your differences. The only settling is to your 1,000 years of slavery. Each nation is going to get their 1,000 years of slavery, and then all of you will get your land back except for Esau. Esau will get, Obadiah 1:18, right? That's his judgment, right? That's the only settling the Lord is going to do, right? You know what I mean? To judge amongst many people and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Hey, and that's all they're doing. That's what AI is doing. It's artificial intelligence. It's matter of fact, even the AI is learning, right? Because that's what the artificial intelligence means. It's learning as it goes. It's autonomous. It learns as it goes. So even AI is learning. So they saying they fulfill prophecy, but it says once you return in that land, everything's gonna be good, right? Yeah. So this is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 10. Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, right? Which is Jacob in the Hebrew. It says, saith the Lord, Adawan Yahweh, Basham Yahweh Shai, Neither be dismayed, O Israel, Yasha'Allah, for lo, it means to look, I will save thee from afar off, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. So all the places, and we're scattered all over the world. So that's what the Lord, that's the settling, the thing that the Lord's going to do between all these nations, these strong nations, right? It says, and Yaqub, right, which is really Yasha'Allah, because he changed his name to Israel, right, shall return and shall be in rest. And see, and since those small hats, the Jewish, have gotten that land, they haven't had any rest, right? World War One, World War Two, it's all been because of them. Now you're in the third woe, and it's all because of you. And it says, and be quiet, right? See, ain't nothing gonna be, you know what I mean? It should be quiet over there, right? And none shall make him afraid. And all sorts of small hatters been leaving Israel, moving into other places so they can feel safe, because they don't feel safe, right? It's always constant war and battle and all sorts of things that's going on over there, right? It says, for I am with thee, right? The Most High is with us, and not you small hatters, you wish. Saith Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash, to save thee, though I make a full end of all the nations, whether I have scattered thee, right, through slavery, through different conquests, these people's, conquered us, and these different things. And Jake has been scattered since even in the time of Yahweh Shai, right? Time of Acts, it says Jews, devout men from every place under heaven, right? Then we were scattered, always scattered, right? How much more once you had your Arab slave trades, your transatlantic slave trades, and your slave trades to this very day, right? So the Lord's making a full end of all the nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet I will not make a full end of thee, right? Because Israel's also a nation. So the Lord's coming to punish the nations, but I will correct thee in measure. So that Israel is being corrected, which started with the elect. And I will not leave thee altogether unpunished, right? 2/3 of Israel is going to get punished on this side of the 1,000 years, right? Yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 11, verse 6. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, right? And that's not happening, man, right? You don't see a leopard laying next to a gazelle, a kid gazelle, because normally they go after the weaker one in the flock, a young kid that just was born, right? A calf or whatever you would call it, right? A kid with normally that's I forgot, that's really like normally the sheeps or the goats, right? Sheep and goats have kids, right? They're gonna lay next to a sheep or a goat and not eat it, right? It's not gonna happen, right? Because they're saying they fulfill prophecy, right? That's not happening right now. G-siding is happening right now. Their gospel is G-siding, right? It says and yeah, with the kid and the calf and the young lion, right? A goat. Calf, right? Yeah, like a cow, or like I said, a a gazelle, calf of a gazelle ain't gonna lay next to a lion and nothing's gonna happen, right? You couldn't lay next to a and nothing happen, right? Let alone, their primary source of meat or food is gonna lay next to them and nothing's gonna happen. Well, that's not happening to this day, right? Showing you that they're not the people, man, right? This is and the young lion and the fatling together, right? Got the different types of you got a gazelle and you got a I don't know what else the lions eat. Apollos, whatever they call. You see a gazelle and Apollo and all these other things laying right next to the lion, and it don't do nothing. It's not gonna happen, right? And a little child shall lead them, and then a little child is gonna go out there and grab them, and they all gonna walk and follow the little kid, and nothing's gonna happen to any of these things. Nothing's gonna happen. No, this is the time that when we will rule and we will reign, starting with Yahushua and King David, the 144,000, and the rest of Israel, right? Right, the one third that comes out, which is going to bring forth the 2/3 through childbearing, right? And the cow and the bear shall feed their young ones, shall lay down together, right? While they're just feeding their little babies, they're gonna feed their babies together and lie next to each other, and nothing's gonna happen. And a lion shall eat straw like the ox. So that ain't happening right now. That proves that what's happening is a kill or be killed. The survival of the fittest is going on. Why? Because the devil is ruling, right? So this is Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 5. Because thus has had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel, right? And some of those Palestinians are Israelites, man. And it could be how you're using your AI. You're probably going back into data as far as back as you can go, and you're probably searching through all these different datas and the likelihood of this person maybe being an Israelite, and you're targeting those people. It could be what you're doing, right? Right? By the force of the sword. And hey, you're using your AI, your gospel, right? That's ultimately a sword, right? In the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end, and hey, we're the closest we've ever been of our iniquity having an end as of this time, right? Because Esau's the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So we're at the end, right, of our iniquity. But of course, you're coming down with your sword, right? You militarize all sorts of things. It says, therefore, as I live, saith the outer one power, the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, saith, since prepare, blood shall pursue thee, since thus thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee, right? Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from him that passeth out, and him that returneth. Right? Hey, the Lord's gonna flatten that place, that Iron Dome. Right? You're not gonna rule anymore. The Lord's gonna take your ability to have rulership over the planet. Yeah, might as well say, and I will fill his mountains, right? Your rulership, your governments, all these government puppets that you put in, all these governments. I will fill his mountains with his slain men, right? And thy hills, and in thy valleys, right? All these different countries that you got all your puppet leaders and all these other different things. Hey, and even all you other nations, man. Right? The Lord's coming to judge strong nations, man. Right? And in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. Right? So, hey, since you love the sword is coming for you. Right? Yes, so this is Proverbs chapter 16, verse 29. A violent man entices his neighbor and lead him into a way that is not good. And that's what you've been doing. You've been telling them Palestinians, so-called Palestinians, because, the real Palestinians are actually Hamites, So that's another wool that you guys pulled over people's eyes, right? Which will be so-called Africans. That's what the Palestinians are supposed to look like, right? And really dark-skinned people and woolly hair. But hey, you're in that land. You're right now. You're cloaking yourself as Palestinians, and those Palestinians were your neighbors, man. And it says it's basically your neighbors, and that a man entices his neighbors and lead them into a way that is not good. So you're seeing them down the way, saying, go over here and we'll send aid and blah blah blah. There's this and that, and then you're using the AI as live testing subjects. This is testing them in real time, right? A live exercise, so to speak, right? And then you're blowing them up in real life. You like, this is not a joke. You're using your Palantir and your these different Facebook and Mac and whatever other tech companies that line themselves up with you, right? And you're blowing these people to smithereens. He shutteth his eyes and devise forward things, right? Moving his lips, he bringeth evil to pass. And that's also what you're doing. All right? Telling them people to go over there, but really you're telling them to go over there so you can bring evil to pass. Yeah, there's some food over there. We'll send a aid, and then you're even blowing up the people who volunteers, right? Right. So it says Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 22, a sound of battle is in the land, right, which is going to be in Babylon, America, but also in the land of Israel, right? You're in the Middle East, right, in that area, the valley of Yehoshaphat. You're going to be in that land of a great destruction, right? And that's really talking about Babylon the Great, but even Israel, you're gonna take a great destruction, right? How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder? Seeing you're showing that you're the hammer of the whole earth, because nobody's doing anything. Everybody's allowing a real live exercise, G-siding, to go on, and not much is being said. not much is being done. Why? Because you're the international bankers. You rule a lot of different things. Though you're one of the smallest countries in the world, you have the 9th biggest military, right? But where is that in the scriptures when the Lord said that you're supposed to be when you get into the land to fulfill prophecy, every sword and which the modern day sword is the gun, right? A spear, right, will be like, your long range rifles, or your, or missiles, right? The arrows. No one's gonna learn war anymore, but somehow there's war being taught. Even your AI is learning war, right? So we know you don't fit prophecy, right? Torn asunder, shall be cut asunder the whole earth of the hammer of the earth. The hammer of the earth cut asunder and broken, right? You're going to be broken, man. How is Babylon, right? Which is talking about America, but it's also going into you. You're the one who's the least of the flock that's going to draw them out, draw Babylon into the battle. And this is by the means and the way that you're doing it, man. Babylon, which is America, daughter of Babylon, right, became a desolation among the nations, right? And so is Israel. Israel, you're going to be right along with America. It's going to be a desolation. Let the battle cry be heard in the land, right? The battle's going to start in the valley of Yehoshaphat, but missiles are going to be shot from every nation. The Lord says, spare no arrows, right? Right? Cry be heard in the land, and shout a shout of a great destruction, right? That's the missiles are gonna make a big noise. They're gonna make a big shout, right? You're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it over there in the Middle East when America get destroyed. It says Babylon, right, which is America, the mightiest hammer, right? Because a lot of the military weaponry that Israel buys, and even I guess they're supposed to be trying to be one who develops military weapon, but a lot of what they use are American militaries, or things that come from Babylon, which is America, right? So you're the great hammer, right? And that dealing with Esau, Edom as a whole, especially when you're dealing with America and Amalek, right? In all the earth lays broken, and see, that's what's going to happen, man. The Lord's about to break you down to the very last compound. You're about to get your judgment. And shattered Babylon is destroyed. Desolate among the nations, right? Yeah, let's go right here to in the blue letter. Let's look up the word hammer. I never did it before. Let's see.
Strong's H6360. Patish.
Meaning to pound, right? Yeah. So yeah, okay. Well, that's a good one, because that's what you've been doing. You've been pounding all the nations, right? It says forge, hammer. So you loan the word. the word? It loaned. Swine? What? Compared to swine. Oh wow. You're compared to swine. Hey, that makes sense. Flat. Yeah. Pastiche. Hammer, pound. Yeah, because that's what you've been doing. Look up the word forge, according to the definition. Right? It says forge, make or sharp a metal object by heating it in a fire or furnace and beating, right? Yeah, pounding, right? Or hammering it, right? And he forged a great suit of black armor. And yeah, that's you. You're the devil. You're black armor, right? You're not the you're not the knight, the white and shining armor. You know, you're the black. Esau, you're black. Amalek, you're black, right? And this is related to build up, and that's it. That's ultimately what you're trying to do. They're trying to build up, wipe out Gaza, and build up all that stuff to try to fulfill prophecy. But we know that land is already dry as I don't know what. It does. Most of all your stuff is imported in. You know, your trees and all your things is all imported in. Yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 4. That thus shall take up this parable against the king of Babylon, so which we know the king of Babylon, Donald Trump is the face of the king of Babylon, but he's not the king of the Babylon because really one of the elites, whoever they are, you know, whoever that person is really the king because Trump is just a puppet, right? At the end of the day, right? But we do because of the scriptures, and we know that the daughter of Babylon is that place that's ought to be destroyed. We always reference Trump as being the king of Babylon, but we know that the real king is behind the scene, you know, ruling over the international bankers and the entire world, really, the world banks. Everything. That's the real king of Babylon, right? It says, and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. It says, you will. This is a NLT. It says, you will taunt the king of Babylon. You will say, the mighty man has been. The mighty man has been destroyed. Yes, your insolence is ended. Let's look up that definition. Yeah, there it is. Insolence. Rude and disrespectful behavior. So, hey, your rude and disrespectful behavior is at an end. Is ended. Right? Skip down to 16, I believe. Yeah. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and did shake kingdoms? Right? Everyone who will stare at you and asks, can this be the one who shook the earth and made kingdoms of the world to tremble? Hey, you're gonna say, is this the guy right here? Why? Because the thing, you're gonna get totally, hey, your insolence is at an end. Your rude and disrespectful behavior is gonna be at an end, man. Your rulership is at an end. Yeah, so this is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 40. It says, "O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle," right? And that's ultimately what they're going to be preparing for you. Esau coming down with great wrath, knowing they have but a short time. And that's what they're doing. And that's why they're doing this live exercise with the Palestinians, right? In those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Saying there's going to be evil meaning a bad time. So what the Palestinians is going through is evils. They're going through a bad time, right? He that selleth, right, which is talking about you. You here in America, you got business and you do things. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, right? Trouble's coming, right? Esau's coming. Right, he's gonna use his Palantir, his Skynet. He's gonna use his gospel, right? He's gonna use his good news, the sword, right? But since he has not hated the blood, the sword is gonna pursue him, right? And he that buyeth as one that will have loss. So you got to prepare to just drop everything, right? And he that occupieth merchandise as he that have no profit, buy it. You got to look at it like, hey, there's no profit in that. I got to let that go. Drop everything. And he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. So you might have just came into some money, getting your first house. You're so proud of it and all these other things. Hey, but according to the Most High, things is about to happen, man. Right? Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore, rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Right? Because, hey, this is the time of Esau's judgment. So we're going to be in we're in good case. We're in a good situation. Right? I mean, it's an evil time, right? But we're good, right? Lord willing, we are. We're in the Lord good graces, right? But the kingdom's coming, right? We're one step closer to the kingdom, so we got to rejoice. But it's because it says, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth," right? Hey, Esau live on this earth, right? They may be trying to get into the rocket ship so they can be in one of those outer space retreats, so they can be not in the earth when all the things are happening, while they're controlling and trying to manipulate everything. But that's fine. Hey, woe, which means judgment, is coming to this place, right? Weeping and gnashing of teeth also, right? The inhabitants of the earth and the sea, dealing with the people. For the devil, right, the false accuser, Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white man, is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time, man. And that's what it is. That's what's cooking. That's the battle. Prepare yourself to the battle. Let everything go. Yeah, so this is Psalms 18 and 4. The sorrows of death compass me, right? And there's a whole lot of death over there in Palestine, man. And that's what's coming over here to Babylon the Great, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, right? They're going to use all them same inventions of death. That's why the scripture says that that no weapon formed or created, and that's what they're doing. They're creating a weapon. Shall not come against me, right? Shall not harm me. You know what I mean? Roughly paraphrasing, right? From Isaiah 54, last verse. I believe it's 7. Is it 17? Right? Because it's going into, because I believe 16 is the ICBM missiles, right? But they're coming up with all their scientists, their smiths are coming up with all sorts of inventions to do you harm, right? So it says, and there's going to be death could pass me, and the floods of ungodly men, right? The military, right? Showing you that made me afraid. Hey, we're going to be afraid in that day, man. It ain't going to be a walk in the park, right? The sorrows of hell, right? A bad time of hell. You're gonna be going. It's gonna be living hell. Evils meaning a bad time. Hell. Compass me about, right? And I ain't talking about a burning place in under the ground, right? Or with a red guy with a pitchfork and do all that stuff. Those are all lies. Hell is either the grave, a hole, a pit, or it's your condition, and that's a hell of a condition. An evil time is a hell of a condition, right? So to speak, right? Hell compass me about. The snares, see, we're going to be snares in a place you're going to burn for. Just don't make sense. The snares of death prevented me, right? And in my distress, right? See, I called upon Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash, and cried unto my power. He heard my voice out of his temple, and your body is his temple, and Lord willing, the Son of the Most High, that Spirit is within you, so the Lord can hear, right? So you can utter prayers that you don't know how, can't understand, right? Roughly paraphrasing, and says, and my cries came before him, even unto his ears. Might as well, right? Keep going, right? Then the earth shook, right? And that's what the Lord is about to bring, man. The Lord is about to, he's about to shake up some things, man. Starting with you Israelite camps, right? And trembled the foundation also, right? The ICBM missiles hitting, World War III. Things are really gonna happen. Things are really gonna shake up, right? Also of the hills moved, and there were shaking before his wrath, right? And the Lord is about to get really wroth with this place, man, in judgment, right? So with all that, I'm going to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners, who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To your sisters, you Akhwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and the Bible ball, Kwam Yasharallah.